I know, I can hear it in the men's voices. They're like, oh, she's into horoscopes, she's into rocks. And I'm like, yeah, and you're into Rick and Morty, so shut the fuck up, all right? Pump the brakes, stud. Yeah, you're like, it's fair, all right, it's fair. I like that. At least you're like, it's fair, all right. It's all useless nonsense until we die, okay? Let people have what they have, you know? I had a roommate, she stopped bringing up on dates about like what her horoscope was, and because guys would give her shit for it, but I'm like, I know you want to know what their sign is. And she's like, I have a workaround. I asked them what their birthday is. And I was like, I love this. How does that usually go? She's like, well, usually they're like, what are you into horoscopes? And then I say, no, I'm just super into birthdays. That is way weirder. It's fucking creepy. Yeah, I'm into that. I'm also into the body positive stuff. I know it's lame. Don't tell me. I know it's lame because my brother always tells me all the time. He's like, body positivity, Caitlin. What, so I got clap for every fat person I see? I was like, Josh, has a fat person been making you clap for them? Because I love that. Keep doing that. Fucking maniac. So I'm trying to push body neutrality is what I'm trying to push with him. I'm like, if you don't find someone attractive, you don't have to tell them you don't find them attractive. That's all I'm asking for men now. I know that's a low bar. I see people I'm not attracted to all the time. I don't say anything, you know? This whole room, and it's fine, you know? And I keep going, and it's fine. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's hard for men. They're like, she's gotta know. It's like, she doesn't. It's not gonna change your life, I promise, it won't. This happened recently. My best friend is gay, which is very cool. And also, she's married, which is also very cool. And she and her wife try to avoid kissing in public because men kept coming up to them, which I think is wild, right? Like, can you imagine? Like, imagine if I just saw two men kissing and went up to them and was like, you know what you need? This hole. I think it's really gonna set this off, you know? Crazy. I'm also into the body positive stuff because I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s, which is arguably the golden age of eating disorders, right? I mean, heroin chic was a thing. It was a nightmare, everybody. People told me Gen Z's going back that way. I'm like, no, they better go back to the butt stuff, because I'm not. All of the butt stuff. I don't care what it is. Just go back to that. I know it was bad in the 90s because there was a term called chubby chaser. Does anyone remember this? This living nightmare that we had? Right, there was a term for when a man was just interested in a larger woman. He was called a chubby chaser, right? Sure. And then when a woman was interested in a larger man, she was just called every single wife in every sitcom ever. So it felt off a little bit, you know. So I was kind of bummed out. Like, that's why I like seeing the representation. I mean, I like seeing bigger bodies on magazine covers because, like, for me, magazine covers as a kid were like 10 organs that are making you fat and how to remove them at home. You know? And it's like next to like a chocolate cake. You're like, I don't know what you guys are trying to do here. I was thinking about what was the first time I got to see maybe like a more regular sized body in the 90s. And I thought about this film, a feel-good film. Everybody say it with me. We all know it. Groundbreaking. Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, what a great movie for a chubby girl to watch as a kid. For those of you who don't know, Silence of the Lambs is a movie about a serial killer who kidnaps fat women, starves them, and then skins them. Okay, he is the bad guy. I want to tell you this, okay? Sometimes people are like, what? It's not a coming-of-age story. He's a bad guy. He wasn't like, I always like to get skin stuff. No, he was bad back then. And, okay, but in the movie, the women aren't fat. This seems like a huge plot hole to me. I don't know. Maybe not to everybody else. But to me it was, and I feel like if I was the detective in the movie, and I came to the door, at the killer's door, right, at that moment, and he was like, I don't know, was she a great big fat woman? If it was me doing it, I'd be like, listen, I know there's a murderer on the loose, but this is toxic. The women in the movie are a size 14. I'm a size 14. And I think, arguably, I would be the worst person for Buffalo Bill to capture. If Buffalo Bill captured me and put me down in a hole, he'd come back 2 weeks later and he'd be like, how is it that you've gained weight. And I'd be like, listen, Bill, I've been eating the lotion. And in my head, it tastes like yogurt. That's right, that's very true. That's really good. I do think we need I don't know, I used to hold Seth Rogen personally responsible for the looks disparity that we're all dealing with. I know it's crazy, but I did. I was like, he gave all these guys this idea, they all deserve a Katherine Heigl, you know, for smoking the weed or whatever he does. But I thought about this and I'm like, you're right, that's not fair. We shouldn't hold him responsible, right? Because this has been going on forever, right? We can look at literature, this is a literature crowd. You know, like, right? You know, Quasimodo. Right? Phantom of the Opera, you know, these guys, they weren't going for the village hag with a heart of gold, you know? They were going for like top tier women. I just feel like if you actually like talk to Quasimodo, he'd be like, yeah, sure, no one's ever shown me any kind of physical affection, but like no bad chicks. Am I right? Fuck you, Quasimodo. Stupid incel. That's how he got that hump on his back. He got it from writing terrible things.